special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Storehouse Media Group podcast without Sherry today. So I'm the presenter, Neil Haley. And my guest today is Arturo Del Rio, and Jr. And I'm really excited to have him on the show because he is going to talk about his company, Lakeside Stack, right? Is that correct?
Yep,
Lakeside.
Lakeside Growth, and one of our core products is
Yeah.
Stack Growth. We
Yes,
got very
and
creative with that.
basically AI automation. That's our conversation today. We could talk, and because I think that's going to be the most valuable for Clips, and everything that we do is talk about what you do. What got you into AI? That process.
So I actually opened up my first AI company back in 2016, like kind of before it was cool. And I had an organization called Honey Data, and we did some interesting stuff around AI, churn prediction, telecommunication fraud detection, all kinds of geeky, nerdy stuff. Where I was actually a consultant for the nation of Saudi Arabia for their drone program, but
Wow.
we and other countries I work with. But we had this little side project called Sales Genius AI, where we wanted to replicate the behavior of our top business development and sales reps. And we started messing around with it. And lo and behold, we launched that product back in 2016. And it was just kind of continuing that from there. Lakeside Growth is my third AI company in a decade. I've been fortunate enough to have a couple exits. And we're in the business of helping companies grow through advanced technologies. But really, while AI and automation is cool, for us, it's really the humans that run the machines over here.
See, that's what I like you saying. The problem is everyone's says they're an AI automation, but there has to be a human in the loop, and you have to have that human understand the AI. So this is the biggest challenge, guys. Yes, you can get AI to do everything for you. You can pretty much have an AI business and it's just you. But ultimately, there has to be a human in the loop. The biggest mistake people are doing is just setting up a system and trusting AI to run it. Explain how that really screws things up.
Well, if you'd like to scale bad stuff, do it that way. If you'd like to be a little thoughtful, this happens all the time. Actually, we've seen it. You know what? I'll mention this. So I'll give you a bad example of letting AI run on its own unchecked. So in one of our tools, we have a multi-channel outbound platform, which is actually like the third generation of Sales Genius AI. But what it does is it interacts with LinkedIn, email, voice drops, all kinds of stuff. Right? It'll post comments. Well, we force human beings to review the comments before they're actually posted. One of our competitors does not. It lets the AI do it. And they had set it to make positive comments. And it did on a post where it was literally of children getting blown up. And it said, hey, this is great. Would love to see more of this. This is a wild use case, but it really is a good expression of poor decision making when you let the machines run wild and you don't have intelligent human loops and oversight in the process. This happens from everything from sales automation to business process automation. And remember one thing about AI, it's a powerful tool, right? But if you don't explicitly tell it what to do and what not to do, you're going to have
and then here's the problem. They're building watered down AI compared to, let's say you have the highest level of Claude you're paying for, Fable 5, or you're paying for the highest level of ChatGPT. People treat that the same than their automation software that was built either, that guess what? It's only set to do one thing well. And this is the biggest mistake. If you handle AI and decide in prompt engineering or looping to have it handle more than one task, it fails miserably, like a human being, right?
Well, you know what the problem is? People don't understand the nature of the context windows when it comes to AI. So they set, and by the way, everyone has seen this. They're asking ChatGPT or Claude or Jet, whatever it is, a question, and they get into this conversation. And at some point in that cycle, it has lost the retention of the original conversation, roughly a 40% context window. So what happens now? It starts telling you wild, crazy stuff. Have you ever caught a lying to you?
Oh my gosh, 40% of the time it's wrong. So thinking about AI software, open source, because you're building open source stuff, Arturo, but you're building that type of an agent to be not what you're going to deal with in ChatGPT. It's going to have the intelligence, but only in that specific skill. So people treat the other AI, if you're finding out from other companies, right, like they're treating it like they're talking to ChatGPT or Claude or something else in a high level software that they do personally, and it totally screws up, right? They think it providing what it needs.
we see boo-boos all the time. And remember what ChatGPT and these other large language models are meant to do. They gather all the information in the universe, and what kind of responses are they going to give you? The small minority that are usually the best. So let me ask you, are all sales performers in the top 3%? No, that's why they're in the top 3%. Now, where is it going to gather its body of work from? From everything out there. And people have seen this. It might write okay copy as sales copy, as an example. Well, but it's going to create, it's meant to point in the middle. So overarchingly, it's going to be pretty vanilla and mediocre. And this is not a knock, right? This is just a reality on how those large language models operate and work. They aim for
And
the
how
middle,
much
for the bulk.
and how much you pay for it. The more AI money you spend, the better quality program you're going to get.
It's kind of how it works. I mean,
Yeah.
well, I heard this recently, and it kind of cracked me up. It said, if you're paying peanuts, you're getting monkeys. Somebody said that to me, had me dying. But the truth of the matter is, you do get what you pay for, and not all software is created equal, and not all software is meant to do all things for everybody. A lack of very diligent forethought on individual components and processes, whether you're setting up automation workflows with a Claude, or you're using off the shelf just batch automation technology as well, right? Most people don't know, and something we deal with a lot because one of our platforms manages stuff on LinkedIn. Most people don't realize that most of the automation tools are all dependent on one API, Unipile, which has been put on notice by LinkedIn.
Oh, and I think LinkedIn needs to get rid of it altogether. I hate saying this because it's really providing because they're not going they hide. This is an example, Arturo. Basically a human doing the DMs, like a VA or something,
Mhm.
versus AI doing them. I'm not saying AI doesn't do it bad, but you better program it correctly and watch it and manage it and develop it. Because my agency does very simple stuff like that, just to help the client, saying, "Hey, I'm
Sure.
I'm piloting this. I'm not saying this is an end all be all. I don't know if it's going to work as well as a human." But it's just at least giving you a little bit more heavy lifting. I'm giving it as a pilot to my client, saying, just go ahead and do it because I found a software that's very cheap that provides, it does work well. It's really done well in certain things, but you have to manage it. But I see other clients that buy the $10,000, $20,000 programs and say, oh, we're going to do it. And then the DMs are like, hi, doctor. That's not how you talk to somebody. And like this, hey, doctor. I saw, hey, doctor. Are you kidding me?
I've
And
seen
I'm like,
worse.
that's is that going to really work to land that client? So they're not taking the flow and trying to replace that VA. And that's the other part. It's all about that workflow from beginning to end. And that's the other problem we're seeing, right? People say they're AI automation experts. They set it up for somebody, but they don't know how to market. They don't understand if you just start DMing people garbage in, garbage out. That's why LinkedIn's trying to shut it down because there's so many people that are not offering anything. They're
What's
just
funny,
asking. Go ahead.
I explain this to people all the time. I say, listen, if you're at a party sitting next to somebody, how would you speak to them? Why do you do that on LinkedIn then? Right? It's the nature. Truthfully, it's not actually the technology or the automation oftentimes. It's actually the thoughtlessness of the human who really didn't look at the situation and realize, you know what? You're not providing values. LinkedIn is an engagement platform. So, like one of the things we do after it outreaches and connects with somebody, they get a video of me talking to them with their LinkedIn in the background. And guess what? I'm not pitching them stuff, right? Imagine this. I develop a relationship, add some value, and then wait for it, we talk a little business.
That's the
What
way to
if
do it.
what if we did it that way instead, right? So
And I
it's
use my show as a lead magnet to build relationships and see if it's a sale or not. If it's
wow,
not, I got content for my nationally syndicated radio show for 2 hours a day. So it all
let's
works
go.
out. And I have a relationship that I can call on and we're friends. That's how I
Yeah.
look at things instead of, oh my gosh, everyone has to be a sale. And that's where we define a marketer versus a relationship expert. A marketer will just bug people beyond belief and turn off 90% of them to get 10% of sales versus you could have made that big time. And that's commodity versus quality at
Amen,
the end of the
brother.
day.
It's funny. You'd be astonished. Well, you wouldn't because you clearly get it. We get tons of just referrals from conversations like that. Oh, you know what? That OSA product, which by the way is one of the coolest things we've ever launched. We actually figured out how to get Google, Bing, and search engines to put your brand in autocomplete before people click enter. Ridiculous. One of the coolest things we've done. We launched it about a year ago. But anyway, all that to say, one of the things that we've realized in these conversations with folks, if you're actually treating people as though they're human beings, that you're engaging and treating like, human beings, oftentimes when we do get into the conversation, we'll mention something like, OSA or our product. It's a webinar to revenue platform we create. It's pretty cool too. But what happens is they'll go, well, you know what? This is not something I'm really interested, but actually my friend John, right? And next thing you know, you're getting a warm intro through LinkedIn from somebody who does match your ICP, who is in market. And this
Right.
happens because we didn't burn that relationship by just sending them 300 messages. Buy my stuff, buy my
Yeah,
stuff, buy my
exactly.
stuff. Anyway,
So
it's a
that's
weird
the
world,
it's
man.
so the next thing's power of brand, and that's the process. But really give, then ask. Don't say, "Oh my gosh, I can do this, this, and this for you," because when you do that, you sometimes will get sales, but other times you'll turn people off, and then you never know where that relationship's going to go. And that's the process. Never ever understand. Sometimes that you think this is your avatar client. Your avatar client's sitting somewhere else, and they're going to bring you 20 pieces of business. So marketers and marketing is becoming oversaturated, and it's going to be an interesting process in the next 5 years. And I think a lot of these AI automations that are charging a lot are going to disappear. And we're going to go into more of a software and education piece and consulting piece versus, everyone doing this, because a lot of the top web designers that we're getting 10, 20,000, which we can build a website in 5 minutes now, HTML. And if you know marketing, can put it together, make it perfect and launch it, is not. They're in another industry now, and that industry at one point will become other softwares, and we're seeing it already with large language models, setting
Oh
up
yeah.
all these agents that can do everything. The more those agents develop, those people out of business, because now you're going to look at open sourcing that. So who knows? But
Do,
again, it's all going to be about, here's your software. How do you use it? So where can we find info on you? Best place for
um,
people that, and what kind
uh,
of businesses are you looking at? Do you work with mostly enterprise, or what type of level?
It's interesting. Briefly, let me just mention this because you said you hit a button that people don't get, and you're clearly understanding where things are going, right? The consulting and education piece is mission critical, and that's actually one of the reasons. So our product stack growth, we realized with a lot of the agencies that white label our lead gen technology that people were struggling to convert on the other side, and the problem was a lot of them couldn't write good copy. But the other part of this was that there was a lack of education in the process. And today's buyer is able to get information in seconds, but how do you reach them? So we decided to create this digital events platform. And what it does, it actually identifies what your ideal client persona is researching in real time in Google, Facebook, Google, Reddit, Quora, all the chat, that stuff. Then it automatically creates the content, the script, the presentation, the landing page, built-in identity resolution. So if they don't register, it grabs their data, follows up. Then it segments the audience in real time, people who attended, people who asked questions, people who didn't, for immediate and automated follow-up. And then it also clips up the videos, short and long form. And we realized that this education component was so critical because you can capture people at the time that they're in research mode before they want to talk to vendors. But anyway, sorry, the best way to talk to me and get a hold of me, I'm available on LinkedIn, Arturo Del Rio Jr., CEO of Lakeside Growth. You can check us out at lakesidegrowth.com as well as stackgrowth.com. And it would be a genuine pleasure to interact with any of you. And thank you for your time, by the way, Neil. I appreciate you having me.
No, no, I love having these AI conversations. Always will bring you on when I want to learn more about AI, but also validate what I'm learning. All right, go to storehousemediagroup.com for all things publishing, podcasting, and media, and make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. That was a special simulcast, the Neil Haley Show and the Storehouse Media Group podcast. Guys, take care.